I'm delighted to share a few words with you, group of human rights heroes. You are the embodiment of moral courage in our time. As represented and symbolized, among others, by Raif Badawi, your Human Rights Award recipient, who symbolizes the struggle for freedom, for human rights, and human dignity. And I want to commend UN Watch and Liberal International, the other non-governmental human rights organizations who've brought together this great assemblage of human rights heroes, of dissidents, of former political prisoners, and an audience who has come together in solidarity with the struggle for freedom. And so to participate in this common cause which brings us together is a real privilege. What I take to be the common cause of the struggle against hate, against the criminalization of dissent, against mass atrocity, against injustice. And all this is part of the larger struggle for the pursuit of justice in our time. As my father would say to me when I was a young boy, before I could understand the profundity of his message, when he said to me that the pursuit of justice is equal to all the other commandments combined. But when my mother heard these words, she would say to me, if you want to pursue justice, then you have to go in and about your community and beyond and understand and feel the injustice and combat the injustice. Otherwise, the pursuit of justice is a theoretical abstract. And so as a result of these teachings, I ended up being involved in the two great struggles of the second half of the 20th century. The struggle for human rights in the former Soviet Union and the struggle against apartheid in South Africa. And got involved in the political prisoners who represented the face and force of that struggle, with Anatoly Sharansky in the former Soviet Union, with Nelson Mandela in South Africa. In each case, the government, through their imprisonment, the repressive governments of the Soviet Union and the apartheid government of South Africa, in imprisoning Sharansky and Mandela, sought to imprison human rights, sought to silence their voices, sought to quarantine the struggle for freedom. But the two persevered. And so you have Nelson Mandela, who endured 27 years in a South African prison and emerged from that prison to not only preside over the dismantling of apartheid, but to become the president of a non-racial, democratic, egalitarian South Africa. And so it is then that each of you, the human rights heroes gathered here today, former political prisoners, dissidents, human rights advocates, each of you represent the struggle for liberty and freedom. Each of you symbolize the attempt by your respective repressive governments to criminalize your dissent, to imprison your voice. Each of you is a looking glass into that repressive government. Each of you is a testimony to what one person can do, how one person can confront evil and transform history. And so we say together with you that we too will do our best to speak on behalf of those who cannot be heard, to bear witness on behalf of those who cannot testify, to act on behalf of those who put not only their livelihood, but as you do, who put your lives on the line, and where your families, along with all those associated with you, bear the pain and suffering of imprisonment, the pain and suffering of torment and torture. But as Martin Luther King Jr. said, and we recently commemorated Martin Luther King Day, as Martin Luther King put it, it may take a while, but at the end of the day, the arc of history will bend towards justice. And because of your commitment, because of your involvement, you, the human rights heroes, you, the embodiment of moral courage, we will leave the shadow of imprisonment and emerge into the light of freedom. Thank you for all your good work. We will do our best to join you and to help make that struggle for freedom, human rights, and human dignity possible. Thank you.